Hi, Microbehunter here, and I want to talk about today on connecting a mobile phone camera to a microscope. And first of all, if you want to take pictures using a mobile phone, then usually what you do is you kind of hold the mobile phone in front of the eyepiece of the microscope. This is called afocal photography, and it does work reasonably well. However, it has a big disadvantage, and that is it's kind of very difficult to hold the mobile phone at the correct distance, at the correct angle, and then at the same time also releasing the shutter. Very big problem if you want to take videos, because you cannot really hold the mobile phone for several minutes that stably without shaking. Very inconvenient for videos. Okay, so what you would do is you would buy yourself some kind of a microscope with a so-called trinocular head. There's a photo tube on top, and then you kind of connect your camera there, and it's all set up and it's all fixed, and you'll get great pictures and videos. The problem with that is that it's kind of expensive, okay? And many people don't really have a trinocular microscope. You have sometimes a single eyepiece microscope, a monocular microscope, and you still want to take pictures. Of course, you can always connect the microscope camera to it using a USB cable. Then you have it basically on the computer, but that's also a little bit inconvenient sometimes, because the video transfer rate over USB is kind of slow, so you get a shaky picture. So it's all a little bit not so ideal sometimes. People want to take often pictures using a mobile phone because mobile phones are there, and you have often now mobile phones that are able to take high HD, high definition video. You can take photographs. The image quality is really good. So why not use mobile phones? And the thing is now the following: if you want to get yourself a mobile phone adapter for a microscope, they are there, okay. But I found that they are sometimes a little bit shaky, okay. And you have to somehow connect it directly. You have to clamp it either to the microscope, or you have to clamp it to the eyepiece of the microscope. And then when you do that, it's like this, that then you cannot use the microscope, of course, because it's clamped to the eyepiece, and then you have to unclamp it if you want to use the microscope again. And I also found that even if it's clamped to the eyepiece, the adapter holding the mobile phone, then sometimes it's a little bit shaky, because the eyepiece is not, has a small play and a little bit of a tolerance when you have it in the microscope. You need this tolerance. Okay, so I didn't really get very stable connections, really. So what I did is the following. I tried now to try a totally different method, and I'm not saying it's the best one or it's a better one. I'm just telling you it's one of the possibilities. What I did is the following. I decided I wanted to decouple the camera, the mobile phone camera, from the microscope. So basically, I want to have it rest on the table. And you could now theoretically buy a tripod. A small tripod, and put a mobile phone holder on the tripod, and then basically do it that way. The only issue with that is it's a little bit inconvenient always setting up the tripod, and it takes up a lot of space, and tripods sometimes, especially the smaller ones that you can place on the table, a little bit flimsy sometimes. So I wanted to have a solid solution, and I think I found one. I just want to share it with you. Okay, so what I did is the following. I bought myself a table microphone stand. And these are for if you do interviews and so on. And I bought it over a basically online shop that specializes in music and in recording. So I tried to get it also over Amazon, but it didn't have the one that I wanted, because what mine has is a very heavy foot made of solid metal. And it has an extensible tube, so a vertical tube that I can move in and out. And at the top, there is basically a threading where you can connect a studio microphone, right? But what I've done now is the following. I bought this stand, and I bought myself separately a so-called a ball head. And a ball head, the ball head connects now to the microphone stand on the bottom, and on the top, the ball head had a connector for cameras. Okay, so they're kind of, it also served a little bit like an adapter between two different types of systems, between microphone system and camera system. And on the top of the ball head, I connected a mobile phone holder. Okay, so essentially I had to buy 3 separate things: the microphone stand, the ball head, and the mobile phone. It wasn't all too expensive because those really what I liked about the whole thing is that it's kind of also more versatile. So I think I paid around 40 euros for the microphone stand, another, I don't know, 15 euros maybe for the mobile phone holder, and another 10 euros maybe for the ball head. I mean, I'm not saying it's cheap or so, but actually it's a very solid combination. As a matter of fact, one of the most solid combinations I've had so far concerning camera connections. And then basically, once I set up everything, then you need to set up everything with the correct distance, and that takes patience, really, because the camera, the mobile phone has to be at the right distance from the eyepiece. It has to have the right angle, and all these things. So this actually takes a little bit of a time, but once it's set up, it's set up. So basically, I tighten all of the screws, and then the only thing I have to do is I have to drop in the mobile phone camera. The mobile phone, right? And then everything is set up, and then place the microphone stand on my table, and because the microphone stand has a rubber ring on the bottom, it's a rubber cushion which kind of prevents shocks from being transferred from the table to the microphone. Okay, so that's why it has this rubber cushion on the bottom. It kind of makes it impossible to move the microphone stand, because this rubber kind of sticks to the table. So what you have to do is you've got to move the microscope. So it's a very stable connection, and this allows me now, of course, to take individual pictures, but also videos. That is basically the system that I'm now going to be using for when I use my stereo microscope, because my stereo microscope does not have a trinocular head. And up to this point, I've always been using a small pocket camera that I kind of clamped to the eyepiece of my stereo microscope, and this worked reasonably well, but I was a little bit not always happy because it was not quite a solid connection. And even though I had to always set it up again, and I had to center the camera and all these things, and right now I think I have a slightly more stable connection, and I'm going to be using now my mobile phone camera for taking pictures. The other advantage of the mobile phone camera is that you get a very wide field of view. Okay, so that is another thing. So basically you see a circle in the middle. Can also be seen as a disadvantage because you're not really capturing, you're not using the full screen resolution, but you can use digital zoom to zoom in. You lose a little bit of resolution this way, but I found this also to be a very workable solution. And another cool thing is because of the large screen of the modern mobile phones nowadays, what I can do is I can actually do microscopy this way. That means I don't even have to look through the eyepieces anymore. All I do is I simply look at the screen of the mobile phone. Whether or not I'm filming doesn't even matter. I can actually use the screen of my mobile phone to actually do microscopy, and I kind of like this as well. Okay, so it kind of I have free hands this way, and I can manipulate the object under the microscope, and at the same time I don't have to look through the eyepieces, and it's a little bit easier on my eyes as well. Well, in any case, I just wanted to share this with you. I've included some pictures below so that you actually see how the setup looks like. Wish you a nice day. Happy microbe hunting. Bye bye. All the best.